إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد، إن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. We come to the nullifier number 8, and that is مظاهرة المشركين ومعاونتهم على المسلمين. The 8th naqid that will expel a person from al-Islam is if that individual backs up the polytheists, the mushrikeen, the kuffar. He backs them, he supports them, he aids them, and he assists them in trying to harm the Muslims. If he does that, he goes outside of Islam, because this is one of the actions. This is one of the actions of the munafiqeen. So number 8, to back up the non-Muslims against the Muslims, to aid them and to assist them in order to wipe Islam out, in order for Islam to be overpowered by the non-Muslims. His allegiance is towards the non-Muslims over and at the expense of the Muslims. As I mentioned when we first started doing this book, it is as if the Shaykh and the Imam, rahmatullahi alayhi, is living in our time right now. He's living in our time right now, because many Muslims don't know that some of the things that we do, in which we are in actuality aiding and assisting these people to destroy al-Islam, we don't understand that is something that would expel you from al-Islam. And there are many proofs for that. But this issue has to be understood so that we don't walk around pronouncing takfir on people and excommunicating Muslims who don't deserve it, because in our opinion, they are aiding the disbelievers, and they are. They are. And you'll see, inshallah. From the proofs that we rely upon in this issue and that proves this point is what Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض ومن يتولهم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. O you who believe, do not take the Jews or the Christians as protectors over the believers. For verily the Jews and the Christians, they are protectors of one another. They're not our protectors, and we don't take them as our protectors. He said, whoever from amongst you does that, takes them as your protector, then you are from them. You are now Muslim, because you took them as your protector over the believers. So you're from them. And verily Allah Azza wa Jalla, He does not guide those people who are the zalimeen, those people who are oppressive. This is oppression. This is the Muslim community, and a person aids and abets, and he assists non-Muslims to shut the doors down and to shut the institutions of al-Islam down and to make Islam difficult to practice. That's kufr. No one does that except a person who is outside of the fold of Islam. It's like a munafiq claiming to be a Muslim. Another dalil from the adilla, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء. O you who believe, do not take my enemies and your enemies as friends and protectors. تلقون إليهم بالمودة. You are extending to them and showing them love and affection. Don't do that. Oh, you believe, do not take my enemies, Allah's enemies, and your enemies as awliya. And you extend to them and you show them love and affection. Don't do that. يخرجون الرسول وإياكم إن تؤمنوا بالله ربكم. These people, they have expelled the messenger and they expelled you from Al-Medina, from Mecca, simply because you believed in Allah, your Lord. So now, right now, we're living right now. Who would take the Yahud as protectors and they're doing to the Palestinians what they're doing to the Palestinians? Who would do that? And they do that with the help of Christians. All Yahud? No. All Christians? No. We're not talking about all. We're talking about what we see in the world today. If you were in the position of the Palestinians of Gaza, and what is happening to them happens to you, and you see Muslims helping them and assisting them in doing that, what does that say about you? About the person who does that? That's the second ayat. We're going to come back to this, inshallah. The third ayat is the statement of Allah, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu la tattakhidhu alladhina ittakhadhu dinakum huzwan wa la'iba min alladhina utul kitaba min qablikum wal kuffara awliya. Oh, you believe, do not take those people who take your religion as fun and games from those who were given the book before you, the Yahud and the Nasara. Don't take them as awliya. Wattaqullaha in kuntum mu'minin. And fear Allah if you're truly believers. Fear Allah by not doing this. These are three of the many ayat of the Quran that talk about the impermissibility of taking non-Muslims as awliya min dun al-mu'minin. We choose, or a person chooses them and not chooses the believer. Now, in explaining this, and this is really, really important, there are 2 points we have to understand. We have to make a distinction so that we don't make takfir of people unjustly. Like some of these people who are always making takfir. Simple, easy takfir comes off of their tongue because they make a ta'wil. They make ta'wil because you're doing this. They say you're not Muslim because you're helping the non-Muslims. These 2 points are critical to understand this issue. When a person goes outside of Islam and when he doesn't go outside of Islam, in terms of aiding the non-Muslims over the believers. Number one, the first point, 2 points. 2 points. The person who takes them as protectors over the believers and he loves them and he wants to see them overpower and overwhelm the Muslims. He helps them like that by any means necessary. He fights with them. He gives them weapons. He does everything in his power. He'll make it difficult for the Muslims. For an example, letting the non-Muslims use military bases to park and land their planes and to refuel and then to go to bomb the people in Gaza. And the person loves doing that. To let them use what we have access to, like the Suez Canal. We let their arms go through that Suez Canal and their cargo to go through that Suez Canal, and it's being used to hurt, to kill the Muslims. And the person who does that, he loves it. He loves them, and that's why he does it. That's the one who goes outside of the deen of al-Islam. That's what these ayats are talking about. The one who doesn't go outside of Islam, and although it doesn't go outside of Islam, it's a major crime. It's a big sin. And we have to make this distinction. The other one, how we understand these ayahs, is the one who aids them, and he backs them, and he assists them for some personal benefit, for the maslaha, shakhsiyah. It's just personal benefit. He is a youngster who was in America. His parents are from Morocco, from Tunis. He was born and raised in America, and he joins the Marines. And then they deploy him to Gaza. He trains soldiers to fly planes or to use weapons to kill Muslims. But he doesn't love them. It's just a job for him. It's just a benefit for him. He joins the police force. He joins the police force. And the police come and knock the building down and hurt the Muslims. And he's a cop. He doesn't want to do that, but it's his job. He doesn't love what he's doing. It's just his job. So all of those ahadith that warn the Muslim from being with the Muslim shurta, the Muslim police. There are ahadith that the Prophet said, don't be with them. Don't be with the arif, the people who work like soldiers for the Muslim leaders who are oppressive. Don't work with them, because you're going to be raised up Yawm al-Qiyam with those who you love. Some people take those ahadith that are authentic and these ayat that we just mentioned, and they'll say, you're not Muslim. And this is what we hear, and I'm not going to mention their names, but there are a few people who are talking like this all the time, making takfir easily on people. We say, no, those people are not non-Muslims. Why? Why are they not non-Muslims? I'll tell you why they're not non-Muslims. Number one, the scholars of Islam, they said that it is ijma'. All of the ulama who are recognizing al-Islam, they have ijma', that the Muslim who is a spy against the Muslims for the non-Muslims, he is not killed. He's not killed just like that. He is spying on the Muslims on behalf of the non-Muslims. He's a jasus, spying. It is ijma' that if he gets caught by the Muslims, the haddi is not killed. Why isn't he killed? Because of some proofs. Number one, and this is important, there is a companion, his name is Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a. May Allah be pleased with him. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was going to Mecca to conquer the non-Muslims in Mecca. Surah Al-Fath in the Quran, they call it Fath Mecca. He was preparing to go. This companion, Hatib, may Allah be pleased with him, he sent a letter to the non-Muslims of Quraysh in Mecca to tell them, get ready and prepare yourself. Muhammad is coming to fight you. And Rasulullah was going, and he was going to have the element of surprise behind him and with him. But this companion was like a spy, He gave the enemy information to prepare themselves. So if they prepare themselves, when they come, they're going to definitely harm the Muslims because they're more ready now to engage them. Jibril came to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and told him what Hatib did. Rasulullah sent his companions, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Zayd ibn Haritha, go get him. They caught him before he got to Mecca. The one who he gave the letter to, they got him and brought it back. Rasulullah said, bring Hatib here. He said, Hatib, why did you send that letter? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I only sent that letter because when I look at you and Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and the rest of the companions, all of you have people who are in Mecca who are looking out for your interests. You have relatives and people who respect you and honor you, and they're looking out for your relatives and your property. He said, I don't have anyone. So I felt if I had sent this letter, the kuffar of Quraysh would be appreciative of that, and they won't bother my stuff or damage my stuff or hurt my people. Umar, when he heard that, he made ta'awwala, like some of those brothers who just pronounced takfir on you. Just like that. Yes, that is an action of kufr. That's an action that munafiqeen did. So we don't reject that from you, but you can't emphatically state that without looking at the whole picture. Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, let me chop his head off. He's a munafiq. That's his understanding. Rasulullah said to Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, and sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Umar, verily he participated in the battle of Badr. And it may be that Allah told all of the people who participated in that battle, he told them, do whatever you want to do, I have forgiven you. Meaning, he's not a disbeliever. He didn't do that because he loves them. He didn't do that because of that. He did it for a personal reason, a personal benefit. The Muslim stole his money here today, stole $5,000, $10,000 from him, cheated him, stole his money, won't give him his loan back. So the Muslim goes to the court and sues that person, brings him to court. And the people say, you have taken the non-Muslims as awliya over the believers? No, I didn't do that. I went to those non-Muslims and the court system in which we're living in to get my haq back. I didn't get it because I love them. I didn't do that because I love them. I did that because of some benefit. And the benefit can be a lot of things. The benefit can be a lot of things. He wants to marry a man's daughter, and that man's daughter, he's hurting the Muslims. He just wants to marry his daughter. So he marries her so that he can marry his daughter, but he is not on the same page as that man. You can't say to that individual, you're outside of Islam, because he's not doing it for love. He's not doing it to put them over Islam. He wants some benefit. He's going to get a wife and so forth and so on. The second dalil is what happened in the Qissat al-Ifk, the story of the great slander, when Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, and Safwan ibn Mu'attal, the companion, may Allah be pleased with him, when they came back from the desert, because they left Aisha in the desert, and this companion brought her back. When they came into the city, after the Muslims came into Medina, some hours after, everybody saw the two of them come into the city alone by themselves. After, when they looked at that, the hypocrites started saying they're having an affair. They are doing something. Both of them were together. Look at this. Look at what's going on. The munafiqun said that. One of the munafiqun is the leader, Abdullah ibn Ubay, and other than him. It was an opportunity to make fitna. Look at this. And unfortunately, there was some of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them. And our aqeedah with the companions is, Allah is pleased with them. Whatever they did, Allah is pleased with them, and they're in Jannah. So if a companion drank khamr, if a companion made zina, if a companion said something that was racist, and he had the hamiyya of al-jahiliyyah, that thing of jahiliyyah, Allah is pleased with them. It's not the case for you and me, anybody after them, not the tabi'een, anybody after them. So those companions, some of them listened to this speech, this gossip, this kalam. And it's an important surah and incident because it shows us what we should do when people start spreading gossip and talking about people. We have to deal with it a particular way. We just can't listen to it and pass it on to the next person. We can't do that. So anyway, the situation became problematic. Look what happened. The fitna grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. It almost led to civil war. You have to remember these two names. And Medina had two tribes there. One tribe was the people called the Khazraj, the Ansar. The Ansar constitute two tribes, Khazraj, and the other tribe is Al-Aws. In Jahiliyyah, they used to fight all the time. They had problems. Islam came, they became brothers. And they taught us how to become brothers. In this country, the racism of MAGA and the racism of these people who are running this country, they want to blame everything on people of color. Their rhetoric is divisive and it's racist. How and why would you take them as protectors? How and why? And they hope for your demise. يُخْرِجُونَ الرَّسُولُ وَإِيَّاكُمْ and tu'minu billahi rabbikum. They don't love you. Those Latinos and Hispanics, and we have them in our masjid, Hispanics for Trump, voted for Trump, African Americans voted for him, helped him. What happened when he came into office? They didn't give you anything. Trying to deport you, didn't give those black people any post of significance, not one. Anyway, what happened was Al-Khazraj and Al-Aus. The leader of the Khazraj is a companion. His name is Sa'd ibn Ubadah. He is the leader of Khazraj, Al-Khazraj. The leader of the other tribe, Al-Aus, his name is Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. The Munafiq, Abdullah ibn Ubay, is from the Khazraj side of the Ansar. He's from the other side. So when the Munafiq started saying this, most of the Muslims, most of the companions, they didn't say anything. They didn't buy into it. A few did. A few talked about it. Only a few, a minority. Most of them were quiet. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came out and he said to the people, who will help me against a man, the Munafiq and the Munafiqeen, Abdullah ibn Ubay? Who will help me against a man who has spoken ill about my wife or my family? I know nothing but good about my family. Who will help me? Someone from the Aus. His name is Usayd ibn Hudayr. He said, Ya Rasulullah, we'll help you, because he knew that the Munafiq was from their side. He said, we'll do it, we'll do it. You just give us the word and we'll deal with them. And when he said that, it made the people from the Khazraj remember Jahiliyyah. So the leader of the Khazraj, whose name is Sa'd ibn Ubadah, he said, Wallahi, you're not going to do anything to him. And you don't have the ability, because we won't let you. He was defending the Munafiq, but because of what? Because he loved kufr? Because he loved what was said? It was hamiyatul jahiliyyah. It's that stuff from jahiliyyah. He didn't mean anything other than that. You know how we used to be in jahiliyyah. The same way we used to do to you in jahiliyyah, we'll do it to you now. Usayd ibn Hudayr said, you are Munafiq and you're defending the Munafiq. Called him a Munafiq because you are non-Muslim, because you defended him. He's not a non-Muslim. That was that thing, that racism, that thing that they had in Jahiliyyah came up. That's what that was. It was nothing more than that. And that man said, getting upset, he said, you know how we used to do you in Jahiliyyah, we'll do it to you again. And he said, oh, for the people from his tribe, his side. That man said, oh, the people from my side. And they stood up and they stood up. And they got ready to fight one another. And it almost was a civil war. When the Prophet saw this fitna was about to happen, he told them, do you people call with the call of al-Jahiliyyah? I'm this and I'm that. I'm better than you. This is from Jahiliyyah. Do you make this call and I'm right here with you? He said, leave this thing because it stinks. It's a bad thing. And he made them disengage. So the Prophet is one of the clear times when there was something he wanted to correct the thing. Like the Kaaba was up, he wanted to build it down, but by touching that Kaaba, he would have made a fitna. So he left it. He wanted to deal with those munafiqeen who made this kalam, but it was going to lead to civil war between his companions. So he stopped it. So if you want to do something that's good, and it's going to create a big problem, then don't do it until you have the ability to do it. The point here is, Sa'd ibn Ubadah, he did not defend the statement and the mawqif and the kalam of those munafiqeen because he loved nifaq and he was supporting what the man was saying. He was defending the man, the tribalism that they had. So as a result of that, those scholars, they said, if a person who is a jasus, he's a person who's doing something for his own benefit against the Muslims, but he doesn't love kufr and he doesn't love the kuffar. He's just trying to get money. He spies on the Muslims in our community, in that community over here. He spies. He's not a disbeliever. He just want to make money. And I don't want to make it seem like it's small and we are dismissive. It's a big thing. It's still a big thing, but he doesn't go outside of al-Islam. And if he did, then we all go outside of al-Islam. And this is why we have to reject these brothers who talk like that with emotions. He's helping, they're helping. the Egyptian people who let the people land on the boat, or they let the boat go through, they're kuffar. Those people over there, they're kuffar. You in the army, you're kuffar. Okay, no problem. If it's just like that and that easy, then do you pay taxes? Do you pay taxes? And where do those taxes go? Those taxes go towards things that hurt al-Islam. The people who destroy Gaza and all that, it goes towards things that hurt Islam. But you don't pay those taxes to hurt Islam. You pay those taxes so you don't go to jail. That's why you pay those taxes. So why is it that this person who did this, he's a non-Muslim, but when you do something, it's nothing? Do you live here? Do you teach in the university? The job that you have that helps this life and this system go forward, are you doing that because you want to help disbelief to go? No, you do that job because this is what you do. So when your job sends you to do something, to put a telephone in the church, the telephone line, Wi-Fi in the church, or wherever, in the bank, or wherever, are you making riba halal? You're not making riba halal. As a matter of fact, if it was up to you, you want to talk to the people who are your managers. I don't want to do this particular job. Can I get out of it? No, you can't get out of it. Go and do the job or get out of here. So you have to make that distinction. You cannot look at someone who's doing something, especially these leaders. And I'm not saying this out of love and protection to the leaders. I'm saying this out of love and protection for the awam of the Muslims. Don't be of those people who go overboard like that. And you're emotional. Why aren't these companions who did these things that they did? Is there anything clearer than what Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a did? May Allah be pleased with him. Send a letter, get ready for Rasulullah, Abu Bakr and Uthman, and lie in wait for them as a strategy. When they come, you can kill them. Is there anything you need more than that to say? He helped the non-Muslims. And Umar, when he saw that, Umar said what some of these brothers say. He's a munafiq. They said about Sa'd ibn Ubadah, you're a munafiq, defending the munafiq. He wasn't defending the munafiq. He was just, as I mentioned, something that he was doing that is not acceptable. Something that Hatib did is not acceptable, but his motivation was not. It was not to hurt al-Islam. It wasn't to hurt the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Aisha, who this slander was about, when she heard what Sa'd ibn Ubadah said, she said about him, and she's the one who was hurting. She was the one who the people were saying that she had relationships with this man. And the one who was with her was Safwan ibn Mu'attal. Safwan ibn Mu'attal beat up a man. He beat up a man. Said that to him, and he beat him up and drew blood from him. And the tribe of Al-Khazraj took him and held him prisoner and said, you have to give our tribe money for drawing blood. And if you don't, we're going to deal with you. The man was defending his honor, and he beat that man up. So one of the people got involved. He paid the blood money, gave them an expensive thing, and they let him go. Aisha was the other one who this hit her. She said when she found out about it, she cried so much that she couldn't cry anymore. The kidney didn't have any more moisture to send any tears out. She said about Sa'd ibn Ubadah, kana rajulun salihan qabla dhalika. He used to be a religious man before he said that. Meaning, I thought he was better than that. How could he say that about me? But he didn't say that about Aisha. May Allah be pleased with them. He said that, what he said, because of that thing from Jahiliyyah that they had, that tribalism. And that tribalism is wrong. So we never claimed that the companions are sinless and anyone from amongst them is ma'asum. None of them are ma'asum. May Allah be pleased with him. And he fell into something. But we don't take that thing that he fell into and we advertise it and we broadcast it and we hate him for that. No, we get benefit from it, like the scholars of Islam took benefit from it. And what's the benefit that the scholars took from this? They said it is ijma', that in war or other than that, the Muslim who spies on the Muslims or the non-Muslims, he's not killed like that. Now, if he says, I spied on you because I wanted to destroy your community. I wanted to let kufr come over. Now he goes outside of Islam because he has that thing of love in his heart. So the eighth one is like the ones that were previous. The Imam, the Sheikh, rahmatullahi alayhi, it is as if he is living or he wrote this book for this time right now. So don't be of the people who help and back and aid non-Muslims over al-Islam. But if someone finds himself in that kind of profession, he is a nuclear physicist. A nuclear physicist. Who's going to use that nuclear energy when it comes to war? More than likely, they'll use it against us. Whatever he's doing, he's into communications or whatever. They're going to use that science to hurt the Muslims, to take over Gaza, whatever it's going to. They're going to say you're non-Muslim. So that boy is going to stop studying because he read this book and he says, you see my job, this job that I have, I am helping non-Muslims and I quit the job. No, that's not the understanding. That's extreme and that's ignorance. That's jahl. Similar to that is a person looking and his belly is full and he's lazy. He doesn't have a lot of knowledge and he's emotional and he's telling people he's a non-Muslim, he's a non-Muslim, he's a non-Muslim, he's a non-Muslim. Everybody is a non-Muslim. So madahiratuhum, to back them, part of backing them is living in their countries. Living in their countries. That's why he said, I'm free of any Muslim who lives with the non-Muslims. It's part of that thing of backing them and making their numbers more. So does that mean we're non-Muslims? Does it mean that we're non-Muslims? So understand those 2 points. He goes outside of Islam with love. But if he loves them, if he doesn't love them, then he doesn't go outside the fold of al-Islam. Okay, Ikhwani, you can put your questions across now concerning the naqid number 8, which is relatively easy. Just remember those last 2 divisions. Any questions, Akhi Bek?